Stay a while and listen.
Hello, welcome back to the Freak Show. Bumpy McSquigums here. I want to thank you all for joining me as I continue with my early access coverage of Satisfactory. I want to thank the developers once more for sending the code my way. I absolutely love this game. It has been so much fun to play, and it's been a game I've been eager and excited to check out and try and play for, well, quite a while. So, again, seriously, thank you guys. I have not squandered my key. I've played this game way more than I should have this last week, and I've just been having a blast. So what I decided to do, instead of having Splootch join us for our little adventure here on this day, I've decided that instead of that, what we're going to do is, Splootch is also playing a tremendously huge amount of the game, and I think the best thing that we could possibly do would be to kind of showcase the different things that we've done. So I have my solo world, Splootch has his solo world, and then I and Splootch together have our combined non-solo world where we have done all sorts of stuff, where we just recently started to go, man, this is a disaster. We should probably fix this because it's real bad. So, with that in mind, and with those things turn around in your head, I'm going to take you on a mystical journey and adventure into our other worlds and share that with you guys for our second episode here. And then, yeah, third episode, we'll actually get going on base building and covering this world proper. So I hope you guys are down for that and you're excited and eager to give it a shot. And I'll see you guys in just a second. We'll go to Splooch's solo world first. Okay, and here we are on Splooch's world, and you'll see that he's currently trying to unlock Logistics Mark III. He's got a whole bunch of stuff that he still has to do. And this is the original, like, I guess, default starting area, the first choice of starting areas that you can do, the grasslands, the plains. And I have a few items. I have the Blade Runners, which will allow me to move faster, jump further, fall further without taking damage. It is a really nice upgrade. Out here we have nothing, but we're about to go and see what Splootch has built and Splootch has done. And let's go take a look, shall we? Alright, over here you'll see the start of some crazy things going on here. There is a space elevator. It just goes off into space, which we will eventually build, and it will be great. There is his hub. He has built a large amount of flooring or foundations, I suppose you could say. And he decided to build up and over across this way. I believe originally he built out over here, and this was his starting location. And then he decided to relocate everything over on that side. He's got some cool stuff over here that you'll get to see a little bit later on. So this is kind of like a sneak peek of what you'll be able to see and do and, you know, just enjoy later down the line. So, there's a giant flying monster over there too. Super fun times. Anyway, there can't seem to do anything with that, but that's cool. Anyway, this is a jump pad. As you see, it launches us into the sky and allows us to jump on things. But, unfortunately, I am terrible at maneuvering myself, and I just hurt myself. Alright, there we are. That worked out a little bit better. Okay, so we came up here, and there's another jump pad that just takes us further and higher and farther and further and further and higher and fire. It's fine. Anyway, we're up here, and there's fire, and there's further and higher and fire and stire and stuff. So, we'll take a look over here. We have some iron mines going right there. And then it look like they're feeding into, man, there's a lot of stuff going. And then he's got something that's way over there. Looks like it might be feeding some coal and maybe limestone or something on over. And his little power lines are going all over the place over here, spread out. He's got several storage containers that are all next to each other, all perfectly lined up, except for that one. That's crooked because of reasons. Shame on Splootch. Shame on him. He should have done better. He should have known. And yeah, this is a lovely little thing. But again, this is kind of just part of his operation. He has spread out far and wide. He has done many things. Anyhow, I felt like getting a high bird's eye view or perspective, if you will, because we're about to leap down. And you know, you would think that we're going to die, but we're going to land in this bowl of gelatin, or this pool of jelly. And essentially that's what it's there for. It's to allow you to jump from high spots without getting killed and or murdered. Let's go take a look at what he's done here. He's got just some cables over here. And then over on this side he's got some. So he's breaking down stuff bit by bit, piece by piece. He's separating out all of his components that he is making into these various storage units, and it's looking pretty good. It looks like his production might have been stopped, though. It looks like his steel plate is probably done. So he's got the backup. We have an assembler here, which means that he's feeding the steel plate into this, and then up here, this should be something like screws or something, but nothing's coming. So usually steel plate plus screws equals reinforced, or sorry, iron plate plus screws equals reinforced iron plate. He has no screws coming, so that's kind of a problem, sort of a mishap. I'm sure he's working on it as we speak. Anyhow, we're going to come on over here. It looks like we have a storage unit leading into another storage unit because of reasons. I'm not real sure why, but they're there. And they are standalone. They actually... Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. They're not standalone. They are what it's going to feed the reinforced iron plate into. So that's what should be here, which then leads into this one. So, yes, here it is. The reinforced iron plate. So as you can see, there's going to be quite a bit of construction, quite a bit of stuff that you're going to be able to do. Take a look over here. He's got a ramp heading up, and he's bringing up some coal, which is a power source for him. This is actually iron ore, and this is coal. Okay, so he's got some iron ore and some coal coming on over here toward the Space Needle, as he calls it, Space Elevator as everyone else calls it. And he's got these nice, lovely little poles here that allow us to stack things up much higher. And we're going to ride the conveyor belt. And we're riding the conveyor belt, and it looks sweet, sweet, nice. Styles with a Z. It is a tier 1 conveyor belt. I can tell by how slow I'm moving. I'm very depressed by this. It's fine. He's got his copper coming on in. It's already processed, and then it's going into a giant amount of factories. He has done quite a bit of work here on his own, and he has been having quite a bit of fun, as I said. I've bugged him repeatedly to come and join me on my world, and we have done quite a bit of stuff. But unfortunately, he's like, you know, we did all this over the weekend, and I kind of want to do my own thing, so screw you, Bumpy. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Thanks, I appreciate it, Splootch. So yeah, he doesn't want to play with me anymore right now. He's all about that that solo playthrough and getting this stuff going here. So he's making some steel pipes, and then they're coming on over here to probably a splitter and into a storage unit where he's gathering them up. He also oddly has a lot of iron plate in that storage unit. Maybe it's just leftover stuff. So that's kind of his base in a nutshell. I mean, he's got a lot of production going here. It looks all pretty neat. Not a lot of mistakes. Oh gosh, there he is. He saw me. He knows. He knows that I'm here. He knows that I'm here. No. No. He's not supposed to see me. It's fine. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Here's his hub up on top of his little Tower of Doom. And yeah, there's some screws down there. He's building all sorts of stuff. And I am not even sure what's oh, he's not done yet, so you can see. Ah, he just knocked me off. Curse you. Curse you, Splootch. So Splootch has murdered me. He doesn't want me in his world, apparently. It's all fine. I'm going to use my left mouse button to respawn, go get my stuff, and then we're going to go hop into my solo world, and I'll show you how much less organized I am, as I essentially just stayed in one spot. And from that one spot, I decided that it was going to be a great idea to just continually fix things and add stuff and kind of retcon things as opposed to rebuilding or restructuring or any of that stuff. So, aw, boo, he stole my stuff. I can't even hit him. Anyway, so that's it for now, guys and gals. In this Splootch world, we are going to resume life and excitement in my own chaotic mess of a world, and then you'll see our conjoined world after that. So see you guys in just a bit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I decided to do a little bonus clip. I have invaded Splooch's world, and I figured as a revenge for him murdering me that one time, he seems to have gone AFK, so there he is in his car. I have decided that I am going to add a little bit of a little something something here. Oh no. Oh no, I've broken it. He's moved enough that he's freed himself slightly. Well, that's unfortunate. I think I might also steal his car. Oh, it doesn't let me do it. Oh, I was gonna steal his car, but can't do that now. All right. Well, we have options, guys and gals. Anyhow, this is what happens when you murder Lord Bumpington, and you're mean to him, and then he has to be not alive anymore. Well, I get a little bit of vengeance. I do. And it's going to take him a little while to dig himself out. I've decided to make quite the endeavor to pay him back for his misdeeds. And yeah, I figured this could be a fun little adventure here. I went and stole a whole bunch of his concrete, and I have made a giant prison for him. Let's go take a quick gander at what I've accomplished thus far. And we are by no means done yet. I've still got thousands of concrete to use, and I plan to use all of it. And encase him in concrete for all of the days of his life. Maybe. I don't know. But at least for a little while. So, as I'm sure you can tell, there's a little bit of a prison I may have made here. Let's get rid of the flashy lights here. So yeah, he is beneath us in his car in that little spot. I don't know. I don't know if he started moving again, but yeah, he managed to kind of find his way into a little bit of trouble there, messing with the old Bumpinator, knocking me off the bridge of doom. That wasn't cool, man. So this is his payback. Anyway, I figure I'll throw this in with that same episode and let you guys enjoy. And yeah, see you guys later. Okay, now welcome to my original world, ladies and gentlemen. It's lovely, isn't it? You'll notice that this place looks vaguely familiar. There's that giant thing with the little gelatin pool here from Splootch's world. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here for Splootch's stuff. We're here to see my amazing, amazingly awesome, efficient, did I mention amazing? Yeah, production. So there goes a motor. And yeah, this is kind of my second, probably my second base, if you want to call it something. So this is like kind of my tier 2 base. This is a little offshoot away from my main base where, as I may or may not have mentioned, I kind of just went and built everything and kept building and adding to stuff, and I didn't really ever fix anything. The only thing I ever really fixed was once I got coal power, which you see the smokestacks right there, I went and I got rid of all my biomass generators. So, and this is all stuff that we'll eventually see. This is just kind of like a teaser to give you guys a headache, for one, because everything is very messy. Even this more efficient way of doing things over here is still messy. But also to kind of let you guys see what's to come down the road and see how we get there. And hopefully it's cool and it works out and it's nice and efficient. You guys like it. Anyhow, let's walk you through what's going on over here. Alright, so over here we have ourselves. We have a gigantic, it's kind of like a production factory here. Here's where we're kind of adding multiple parts and building some of the more advanced things that we can build. So, down that way, we have pretty much all the resources, all the basic resources we can get. We have coal for power, and we see we're splitting it out 3 ways and doing various things with that coal, including powering these 2 generators, or fueling these 2 generators, which is powering pretty much this whole area. It might even be connected to the other power grid. I don't remember. It's not important. We have limestone coming from over there. We have iron coming from over there. And then we have copper coming from over there. Those are basically the 3 starting ingredients, the 3 starting materials that you can harvest and mine and do all that stuff. So that was kind of like an additional way of getting stuff here. Because over on the other side of this lovely base that we see here is the original starting base that is going to make you want to cry and stuff. It's going to be great. We're going to totally go over there in a minute. But efficiency here is fairly decent. So like I said, splitting it 3 ways, getting the generators the coal they need to burn to power everything. Then the 3rd way, it's going right in here with some iron ore, which is then turning it into steel ingots. The steel ingots are going here, and they're getting split 2 ways. One is coming over here to make steel pipes, and the other one's going to come over here to make steel beams. Yep. And then the concrete is being produced down there, and it's being brought on up here and put at the end of this line, which has the steel beams coming out. And then once this is done doing its thing, it's combining the concrete and the steel beam. And presto digitation, or ipso facto, or whatever you want to say, yeah, we get encased steel beams. And that is this delicious looking candy bar looking thing here. Can't stay, there we go. So yeah, we need those things, and motors. So the motor route is a little bit more convoluted, a little bit more complicated, but no less fun. As you can see, I can just kind of build this into the ground. It works. It's fine. Don't judge me. It's okay. Alright, let's go down over to this side of the universe here. And as I said, coal, iron, blah, 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 it's fine. So, iron is split over here 3 different ways. I know, shocking. It seems to be a theme. It is a theme. We do a lot of 3-way splits. It's okay. So we have iron and we have iron going into these. These are producing... These are smelters. They are turning iron into ingots. The ingots are going into these delicious, delicious things. This one's producing iron rods, which this is a constructor. These are probably producing also iron rods, because of course they are. So we got the double iron rod production coming. Up here, we're turning the iron rods into screws, because we desperately need screws, because screws are super important. Then the screws are being shoveled in from over there into this, along with the iron rods, to produce rotors. Cool. So the rotors then also turn into something else. But we're not ready for that yet, because we have other things on our minds. Those other things are over here. So, last but... Well, I guess it's probably last. Last but not least, we have our copper. And our copper is being smelted into copper bars. Copper bars, or ingots, I suppose. Copper ingots are being turned into other things. We're only splitting this one 2 ways. This one is supposed to be making wire, but I don't think there's any power to it. It doesn't matter. Inconsequential. I'm not here to fix, I'm here to share. And this one is producing wire. So you'll see over here, this is all supposed to split back in and be like, boom, wire. So this is all copper wire. It's coming over here in this very, very efficient pattern. And it's being fed into this. This is our assembler. Our assembler is taking the steel pipes that we are building over there, and it is mixing it with the copper wire, and it's producing stators. So what do you get when you have a stator and you have yourself a rotor? You throw it on in here to this assembler and you make yourself a motor. And then the motor comes out. So essentially this is going to be filled up with, well, one day, with motors and with encased steel beams. Or sorry, encased industrial beams. Both of those are kind of like later tier, probably like mid-tier items. Because don't worry, it gets way more complicated later. But not here, not in this world. This world's much, 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 much less complicated. So over there we see our original copper mine. And right here we see our, well, this is not our original copper. This is where the copper goes into and it turns it into the ingots. We see our original iron mines here. And let's just kind of look through our very, very straight and straightforward patterns here. This was a temporary biomass production place, which I don't need anymore. And that's what was all stored up in there, was biomass things. We had wood and leaves that were being turned into biomass to then turn it into other things so we could power our... It was a whole thing. Over here, somewhere down in this general direction, we have ourselves... Is this iron at this point? No, this is limestone. We have our limestone, our original limestone there. And then way over there, we have a whole bunch of iron coming back to us in various horribly designed ways, because of course we do. And I have a fairly okay production path over here. Iron's being turned in into or being smelted in multiple smelters. Then it's being split off in various places and sending the ingots of various other places, turning them into iron plates. And this wasn't too bad. This is a little chaotic. It gets a little bit scary, but it's not too bad. We got a whole bunch of screws getting made. And we have another source of coal coming in from over here, along with our coal generators over here doing what they do. And it's not too bad, not too bad. A little bit of exploration. We have our space elevator here chilling and ready to go launch up into space and send our offering to whatever's up there. We're not entirely certain at this point. I'm not sure what the rods are doing here. Oh, yes, I built this near the end here. So the rods are also combining with... Is that reinforced iron plate? And they are producing... Oh yeah, modular frames. Alright, so this is turning into modular frames. We go in here, we have like 13 of them. There's not a tremendous amount. We have our storage tower of doom. So basically, I have most, if not every single bit of items that we have, that we're producing, are at some point being led back into here. This was a split off. So I split it. It was Actually, did I change it and it's only going to here now? That might be the case. I'm not sure anymore, to be honest. I think it's still splitting. So it's splitting to here, and then the other place that's going is over to those storage units over there, after being fed through other storage units, which are over here. So we have the 3 tall stack here, which is then feeding into the 4 stack here, after having originally been fed in from the 2 stack here. Wait, is it the 2 stack here? Yeah, the 2 stack here, which is then also being split up to the like 5 or 6 stack over there. So I got a whole bunch of random stuff in a whole bunch of random places. I've got like no rhyme or reason to any of this. As you can tell, it's very orderly. There is no confusion at all. I cannot jump very high. I am sorry. I'm used to having other things that make me a little bit better. As you can see, navigating this nightmare is, well, a nightmare. It's kind of bad. It does not look all that good. But that's kind of what we do, right? We take things that are supposed to look awesome, nice, and efficient, and instead of going, hey, we have this new stuff that we can do, let's fix this so it all looks good, we're like, meh, we'll just add to what we already have, and chaos just ensues. That's pretty much the size of what we do here. So this is my brainchild. This is my little birthed baby from what I designed in my initial run through. There's stuff going all over the place, every which way. There's, like, again, not a lot of rhyme or reason. It worked. It all worked. We're all backed up. We have tons of stuff stored, so we're able to make a lot of things. Granted, they're kind of lower tier items, but that's important. But ideally, you would want to organize stuff to have like all of this here, all of that there. So like all copper wire and like a triple stack of storage units. And then all screws in a triple stack, and so on and so forth. You want to split them out, and then from there, you split them to where you need them to go to produce higher and stronger and better stuff. Anyway, chaos, guys and gals. Chaos, madness, insanity. That is what I would name my base if I had to name it. But I don't, so you guys can name it if you want. Anyway, we're going to go from the chaotic, just whatever this is, to, well, before we started retconning completely our conjoined world. So basically, the last session that Splootch and I played, I was like, alright, I did some stuff, we got stuff going on, let's fix our base, rip everything out, start over, make it look nice. We're not done with that process yet, but we've started that process. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop into before we did that, because I have a save file for there, and I'm going to show you guys what we're working with, and then we're going to get out of that, and then we're going to hop into where we're at now, and what we're looking at, and what we're doing with that. And then that's going to be it. So the next episode after this episode will consist of Splootch and I starting fresh over in the little forested area off in the, I guess in the northeast is my guess as to where we're at from where we are here. Anyway, don't stare directly into any of my construction, and I will see you guys in just a second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of Splootch and I together. You'll see right there, there's a car that's moving around. And you'll see there's these blue little arrows and things that are going on. Well, I got some news. There's no one in that car. It's going on a predetermined path that I had set. I've recorded the track that I wanted to follow, and it goes to another base that we have, a remote base, and it grabs stuff from the remote base, comes over to here, and gets it unloaded. This has coal being filled or fueled or piped or whatever you want to call it into this place, and it refills the truck with that fuel and the car or whatever that thing is, and it just keeps going in a loop. So yeah, it's actually kind of neat. So you'll see over here we have a tractor. I'm not really going to hop into this right now. I don't think I'm going to hop into any of the vehicles because I kind of want that to be an experience that you guys get to experience with Splootch and I for the first time, instead of me doing a kind of a here's what's happened so far. So we built a bridge, and you'll see I have some random stuff laying around. Across this chasm, Splooch's main base from his solo area is kind of off over on top of that overhang. Our main base is back over here, very, very reminiscent of what we did last time in my world, but slightly different position. So we're up over here by our copper mine, and our copper mine comes out, and this is chaotic, but it's a lot more organized than the other stuff. So our copper mine's coming out, it's going into a smelter, it's spitting everything out. I'm not going to go through every little bit, I'm just going to kind of let you guys see what's going on here. So we got production over here with 2 assemblers, a bunch of screws, and we're making reinforced iron plate. And we're also making, I believe these are rotors. They are. And then they're being fed off into other things. So we kind of ran into the whole storage problem and all that stuff that we did before. That stack of storage units over there is basically feeding in raw components, and then we're pulling the raw components out, sending them down a conveyor belt to use in the more advanced things and split them off into various things. This is kind of the end result of the more advanced things right now for some of the stuff. But we have another section over there on the other side of our wall of pollution, as I like to call it, or our little coal harvesting thing. Or I guess it's coal burning plant, because coal's coming from over that direction. And this pretty much powers everything. There's fake Splootch. He stays in my world even though he's not here. So that's where he was the last time he logged out. And you'll see over here we have a whole bunch of coal coming in. We have coal coming in. It's on one of the better belts. And it's coming from way over there just like before. And, oh yes, I did this. I forgot. You'll see how this all plays. This was an adventure, guys and gals. This was an adventure. That took hours upon hours upon hours. Anyhow, so Splootch is really big on the whole, let's use our foundations and build a structure, or a floor at least, so everything's flat and we can do stuff. It makes sense. I approve of this, and it's good. Anyhow, stuff is getting all fed into these various different things, and as you'll see, they're all pretty darn full already. And there's not a lot of room. There's a little bit of room in these. This one's empty. This one's feeding into this one. So eventually when this one's full, this one will be full first. I put other storage units over here because we have achieved oil. We're allowed to find oil, and then we have produced oil into crude oil in those barrels. Rubber at the bottom, plastic in the blue, and then this is fuel coming on in. And you'll see it's starting to fill up right up over here. So we're storing that. We don't really have a use. Well, we do. We do have a use for that. But at this point in time, we didn't have a use. I built this lovely ramp to go over those little poison cloud things over there, to go off into our horrible, horrible, horrible oil mining facility. We may hop in and go for a ride. I don't know yet, guys and gals. I kind of want to keep you away from taking car rides and stuff, but I could run it. Maybe I'll run it. Maybe that's what we'll do for our final thing. Over here is all about steel production. As you can see, we have way too many rotors going around over here that are being fed into this, which are turning everything into motors. So we have rotors coming from there, and this would be stators coming from over here. We've got iron pipes coming in, more iron pipes coming in over here, along with screws to make rotors. And yeah, it's a mess. It's not that big of a mess, though. I mean, at least there's some organization coming in here. We have piped in on this side iron from our original iron mines over there. There's our space elevator, painted all a nice turquoise color, because that is just dead sexy. We got concrete coming over here to turn into the encased industrial beams. We got some more copper wire coming in. We've split stuff off. It's okay. These are the Mark II miners, so there are better miners that you'll eventually get. And stuff is kind of starting to come to a standstill over on this side as well, because, well, we're just too efficient with what we're doing. We got another iron producing facility down here that we really branched out and split up. We got a bunch of screws coming in on this particular belt. We've got our limestone, our original limestone, coming in and being split out into various different things to make a bunch of concrete for us. We got tons of iron coming in from over there. Again, turning into screws on this side. I think we've got iron plates on this side and then iron rods on the far side over there. Coming up and going over. There's just not really much else to show you guys. It's not the greatest setup, but we worked with what we had, and we weren't too crazy and chaotic. So this is messy, but it's not like my world messy. Like this is still acceptable messy. This is acceptable messy. Alright, so we're going to go on a quick adventure. And, yeah, you guys will get to see where the truck goes, essentially, or where the Explorer car goes. So, it comes over here. This is where it unloads and it refuels with coal. and we went to find more iron, and you get to see the giant thing above us. I haven't been able to interact with that thing in any way. Oh, don't get run over by the car. It will probably catch up to us. We're fast, but we're not super fast. With our Blade Runner equipment on, we're a bit quicker. So you'll see over here to the right, there are additional iron deposits that we can utilize. There should be some more out this way as well. Right there, in my crosshair area, right there, that is uranium. Don't pick it up unless you have like a hazmat suit or something, because it will make you die a lot. I made that mistake. It was not a good one to make. Alright, we will probably run across some sort of horrible monster along the way. I'm going to try to just ignore it and not fight it. Oh, the thing is lagging its way toward me. Yeah, it's definitely going to catch up to me. I got to try not to get run over by the car. Alright, so we're going to go see where we went and found additional coal and additional iron. We also found something called, I don't remember what it is, like Caterium ore or something along those lines. That's the creature that I don't want to mess with. Maybe I'll get lucky and the car will hit it as I go by. I doubt it. Nope, car totally missed it. I'm not here, sir. That thing shoots fireballs. No, lava. That thing shoots lava balls. It's not great. You don't want to mess with it. It's unpleasant. I can kill it, and I have. Just don't feel like doing that for you guys right here, right now. Anyway, we continue down this path. It is nice to have the checkpoints all visible. If you don't like seeing these things, you can turn them off, because there's no reason to see them at this point. The path isn't perfect. Again, you have to literally drive it and record your path. And then it follows the path that you've recorded. If it runs into any issues, and like hits a wall or anything like that, it will do small course corrections and try to work its way around whatever obstacle that is in its way. Like maybe it goes over a corner a little bit faster or slower than you did. If that's the case, then maybe it hits a bump that you didn't hit at a certain angle. Anyway. Or if you change stuff. If you change stuff, you have to be aware of where your vehicle is moving. Anyway, way down here, this is where we're producing basically just modular frames, really. That's all we're really producing over here. All the stuff that we have, everything that's built is modular frames. And then, if that wasn't enough for you, I don't think we have it on right now because we just filled up with it so quickly, but this top belt that's not moving, well, that's not bringing anything along, that is the Caterium ore. And that goes all the way back into a different area with a whole bunch of other random stuff. All this iron that's being piped in right now is from an area very, 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 very incredibly far away from here. And it's being piped in, but this is where we found coal. Now we have explosives. I don't think I have an explosive that I can use. But once you get explosives, these little rocks, these little golf ball looking dealies, you can actually throw an explosive on it and then blow it up. And it's cool. It's neat. And that will actually give us access to this coal that's laying down here. Anyway, and there's more coal here if we needed it. So there's lots of sources of coal that we can utilize at any given time. I'm not going to run all the way down to where this goes. But I think I'm going to break it off here. Not the whole episode, but I'm going to break off this. And then I'm going to bring you into our new retconning world, where we're trying to fix stuff to make it all streamlined and look nice and be efficient. So I will be back once that happens, and I will show you guys what's up there. Okay, so welcome back to our conjoined world where we are trying to get stuff done, trying to get things handled, and trying to get stuff, well, retconned or fixed or just nicer. So this was a production facility that I used to build up our oil facilities and our fuel facilities and things of that nature. So you'll see it's all kind of at a standstill now. I don't really need it anymore. It's just here in case I need to come back out here and do some work. But essentially it had some iron, and I was able to produce some stuff. I got some concrete coming in. There was a lot of work that went into getting this to work. As you can see up here, we have a whole bunch of coal facilities, and they are both mining and generating power. So mining coal, burning the coal to generate power. As you see here, we have these fancy new poles that can connect 7 instead of 4. And you'll see our pipelines going all over the place. So this is where I have the concrete coming from, way over off this way. But we're going to ride this on down, and we're going to go take a look at our oil facilities. So there's our car. We're not going to take the car because cars are super fun, and you guys don't deserve to experience that yet. Not until you've gone through the ringer with us. So Splootch and I had to kind of build over a lot of water and stuff, and it was quite a challenge, but we built some bridges. I put up some walls to kind of, navigate us away from doing bad things and keep us on the right side so we don't go falling into the water. And it mostly worked. Yeah, Splootch did some building up there, trying to keep our pipelines out of the way as much as possible so we can still get by if we need to go do other things. We have some additional oil over here if we ever need more, which at some point we very well may. But that's some oil stuff right there on the ground. We'll be able to build oil pumps and do stuff. We have 2 oil pumps going. We have a couple of oil refineries, which are doing oil refinery things. So you see here the pumps are pulling out the crude oil. And the crude oil is being fed on into the refineries, which are then turning them into plastics, fuel, and somewhere rubber. Maybe here? Rubber. We also have some just crude oil coming back along the top there. And all of them have been piped together into our wonderful little beam of awesome, which leads us all the way back to our base. So we're going to go jump cut over to our base and see where all this goes into, which you kind of already saw before. But things are going to look a little bit different than they did in the last bit. Okay, so here we are back at base. We are feeding all the stuff into the storage units like you guys saw before. I have some temporary stuff going on up here that I was making things with the plastics, and this should, but does not, it should have some of this stuff in here, the copper wire, and it'll spit that out, and then this thing is making us some circuit boards. That's right, we're making computers and all sorts of stuff. This has long since been completely filled up, as I'm sure you guys were aware that was going to happen pretty quickly. It's totally full. It's fine. We have a lot of random storage units laying all over the place now, from personal storage over here to a bunch of these big bad boys over here that are double stacked tall. We have a new one over there that's collecting all the motors and rotors and everything else. We have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 big storage units over there. We got some more personal ones laying down. Essentially everything has ground to a halt because we are rebuilding and repurposing our base. This was all of our steel production, which was making a whole bunch of stuff which essentially turned most things into motors and encased industrial beams. So this is still here. We're going to eventually remove it because this isn't where it's going to go. We've already taken a lot of the conveyor belts out of the circulation in the system. We've left the space elevator where it's at. We may move it later on as we expand out our base, which looks like it's floating in midair, and it kind of is. And that's one of the cool things is gravity doesn't seem to be a thing. So you can build stuff in the sky and then remove everything attaching it to the ground, and it just floats there, which is really cool. I actually like that a lot. That's one of my favorite things. So we have repurposed our iron. We have Mark II iron dudes here doing Mark II iron things. We're putting splitters and all sorts of... Wait, what? Sorry, forgive me for a second here. What did Splootch do? Well, I mean, I guess we have we're using tier 3 belts at this point, which, by the way, is super fast. Look at this. Super fast. So tier 3 belts, I guess we're not producing iron fast enough for it to matter that he didn't split them out. He merged them together, and it's still not enough. And welcome to what looks very chaotic, but it's actually quite organized. It doesn't look like it, but it's actually quite organized. So we have all of our stuff coming around the outside of our giant platform that we have here. We have all our power up. We put these like taller positions. I'll get to one in a second here. We're not quite done yet, but the higher positions, so we have good vantage point to put power to things. So we have stuff on, like I said, on high points. We built these things up every so many blocks. And they're supposed to be on the outside of it, but Splootch has added another row, so this needs to move back one. But it's fine. Anyhow, so these are on the outside of our base, just kind of sitting there overlooking, and we're able to connect stuff in. And then over here, again, we're streamlining stuff. That's the whole point right now. That's what we try to do. So we have our copper coming in. It's split in 3 ways, and all 3 of these are making copper wire. However, that's not it. That's not all that's doing. So from the copper wire, we have all the copper wire coming on into this one from 2 of them, and then on the 3rd one, it's not going into a storage unit. It's being immediately turned from copper wire into cables, which are going to come out here and go into this storage unit. So as you see, we're filling up with cables, and on this side, we're filling up with copper wire, and apparently some quartz crystal. It's fine. Alright, so that's kind of like the first stage. Those are the first two things that you can get from copper, and the only two things you can get from copper at its base component. Then over on this side, we decided to build, I don't remember, we're about to find out. I believe this is iron, or maybe this is steel. This is steel, so this is the foundry. So this is steel coming on in. And it's got iron and coal, and it's producing steel ingots. The steel ingots are then being produced into steel pipes. Both of the ones at the bottom should be steel pipes. They are. And they're being fed into this storage unit. I don't know the storage unit. We might move around. It's weird. We did some stuff. We were testing some things. It's different. I kind of like it, so I might just keep it there. Then we'll climb all the way to the top of this monstrosity. And we'll jump our way up here. And welcome to our floating place in the sky here. So these are foundries, which again are turning coal and iron into steel, and then these are turning them in the steel ingots into steel plates, and the steel plates are going into these, and then we'll be able to break out the base components where we need them. We may move everything away from here if we're going to do more advanced stuff. I'm not sure yet. We're still deciding exactly what we want to do. We want to try to get all base components essentially built in this platformed area. So we have all this area to work within. Our hub has been relocated over here. You see Ghost Splootch is standing there. It is fine. We have ourselves another workbench here, and we have back-to-back equipment workshops. So if we both need to do something, we can do it and not have to wait our turn. So that's all fine. This is kind of the remnants of what's left of our old base. We do still have the truck stop over here, and I do still have another steel production facility over here. As you see, this is actually full up. And this is going to be very important to us later on, but stuff is starting to back up, so I may have to start transferring some stuff over manually, and we'll probably do away with this. I also did a beautiful little construction thing over here, as you can see. We've expanded out our bridge. We still have our truck stop going, and for that steel facility over there, I have two iron deposits. I guess it's two iron miners that are splitting it three ways over that way, sending one of those three, so two of those three, over this way to go feed into our steel production. And then the others are all making the base components for iron. So if we take a look here, we've got our double iron ore. Up here we have screws. Up here we have iron rods. And then finally we have the iron plates. And those are all being fed directly into this thing. And this is our giant storage. Sorry, this is actually not. Those are our storage. This is just for power. Those are our storage things for all of those. As you can see, they're all backed up. We have stored a completely filled container for those. So 48 slots for each of those things. It's kind of cool. It's kind of nice. We have something called a smart splitter now, which kind of works pretty decently, but it has some limitations and things that make it less good than you would hope. So over here is a little facility. I feel like I did a fantastic job keeping this as tight and nice as possible. So we have the double refinery, and then this is leading back to go feed our steel. Over here, the ingots are coming out, going into a storage unit. I have a lot of this going on where it's storage after each step, so if it does ever get backed up, it will actually store extra stuff, so when production gets moving again, it will speed things along. Now, this was originally split between iron bars and screws, but iron bars filled up real quick, or iron rods, excuse me, filled up real quick. So I just switched it to screws because we were using a ton of screws for things that we were needing. So now all the screws are backed up. This is a smart splitter. It's sending iron bars out this one, and it's sending screws out this one. Now the problem runs into, say I had iron bars like here, and there were screws in front of it, and the screw thing was all backed up. This wouldn't move forward to use the splitter because it's all backed up. That's one of the few limitations, but I mean, it makes sense. It is what it is. And then on this side, we have steel plate. It's just creating steel plate. So it goes from there, again, storage unit after the iron ingots, and then once it goes into the double constructors, it turns it into steel plate, goes into another storage unit, and then that storage unit goes and connects up and sends it way back to yet another storage unit. So we have a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of things are being made. It's all quite well done for me and for Splootch and us doing stuff together. So this is my baby. I did this overnight one night, and I made all this and sent it back. And Splootch came and was like, oh, that's pretty impressive. And then we decided we're going to gut everything and basically start over. So this is probably going to stay for a while. We may eventually end up shifting this across the bridge over to our main base, trying to utilize it. Or maybe we'll just build up some more storage units on this side and send this to an assembly area. I don't know exactly what our plans are yet, but this is the start of what we're doing. So I'm hoping, guys and gals, I'm hoping, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be able to do something cool like this. If you guys have ideas of stuff you want to see, if you want it to be chaotic and crazy, or if you want it to be structured, or you want everything to be built up in the sky with us floating there. I mean, granted, we are subject to gravity, but other things aren't. Like if I removed all those blocks up there, all that stuff would stay. It would not fall. So let me know your thoughts, guys and gals. What would you like to see? I hope you guys appreciate, or at least enjoyed your time kind of going through the tour and seeing all the various different things that we can and have done. I suppose the one thing I didn't show you guys yet, and I will show you. This is all stuff that was part of our old scenario, and we may end up reusing some of this stuff too, because while it's pretty efficient. Like, these all went pretty well. Like, these were not just kind of thrown together haphazardly. It looks a little bit messy from here, but it's not going to be as streamlined as this, but it's actually fairly decent. So maybe we'll tighten up some of the lines coming in. We'll get it all to ride on like a 4-stack or something like that over there. But one final thing I want to show you guys before we break off this episode of adventure, exploration, and sharing, and that is we are no longer over here. Used to be our pollution corner. If you remember, we had our pollution corner stuck up against the side of this thing with our coal, our coal, our coal, our coal, our coal. We still have coal coming in, but it's now mostly used for iron and maybe refueling at the truck stop over there. And that's because you guys saw in the last little bit there, we have our gasoline, I guess our fuel if you want to call it that, and our crude oil production going. And we finally unlocked the ability to make gas generators, which we have over here on this wonderful little thing. So this is my gas generator thing. I did this, again, there's a few things that I did that weren't just terrible. So, you know, I have my moments. I didn't crash this, by the way. This was not me. Yeah, so we have 4 gas generators right now. They're pulling 600 megawatts for the 4 of them. That's 150 each. And that is a fair bit of power. I think we had like 6 or 8 coal places. It was pulling significantly less, 50 each. So if it was 50 each, it was like 400. And we had some of them overclocked and whatnot. But yeah, this is our little slice of heaven. This is what we're doing. We still have a lot of the same stuff that we had before that you guys saw. And no new vehicles yet. We're getting close to unlocking the latest patch and update to the game, which is trains in Tier 7 and stuff. So we're on our way. We're going to get a radar, which I'm not sure what that does. We have a map, by the way, which is interesting. So we can zoom out. We can see what's going on. You can actually see our explorers driving around doing stuff. You can see that we have our various different things. Caterium is over there. Over here is our oil base. We're stuck smack dab in the middle here. Almost equal distance between those 2 different deposits. I believe somewhere up over here is quartz, so we'll have to eventually pipe that on into our production stuff. But there you go, guys and gals. Like I said, I felt like it'd be kind of cool to share stuff that we're doing. Like I said, I played this game way too much over this last week. I've had an absolute blast playing it. I've absolutely loved my time with it. It's still in early access, but there's so much to do, and this reminds me very much of the time that I used to spend playing Space Engineers with Splootch. You know, I had a lot of fun. We had a blast doing it. We created some cool things. Maybe not the most efficient things, and the game has become really, really complicated and really cool, Space Engineers. So at some point, maybe we'll come back to that after we get done playing around in Satisfactory. But for now, this is it for us. This is a lot of fun. Like I said, it's been a long time since I felt like this about a game like this. So there's going to be plenty more coming on the channel. Throw your thoughts at me, guys and gals. Give us suggestions and stuff you want to see. If you want to see us try to craft some sort of crazy looking thing, we can try that. I mean, we haven't really tried anything artistically. We've just tried to make stuff work, and we try to clean things up. So spit out your thoughts, guys and gals. Tell us, comment section down below. And we'll see you starting our actual base for you guys to see from beginning to end. Well, at least mostly. I'm sure there'll be a few spots that we cut out just out of tedium, and we don't want to drive you guys insane having to watch every little spot. But yeah, that'll be in the next episode, guys and girls. Anyway, that's it for now. Until the very next episode, my name is Bumpy McSquigums. Splootch will join us next time, and we'll see you later.